Hello, gamers. It is time. I'm doing something doing something new today. I just realized I kind of want just recently I've been lamenting the fact that I've never really been able to stream Ace Attorney just because I play it all off stream. So, uh I figured out, well, there is one Ace Attorney game I haven't played even if I've been spoiled on it, and that's Ace Attorney Investigations 1, the first one. I played the second one. So, I found it. The one Ace Attorney game I can stream until Great Ace Attorney comes out next week, but details. So, hold on just a sec. Just need to grab some things. I got distracted by the fact that Twitch did a dumb and never updated my stream info that I forgot to grab some things. Alright. Okay, just gotta. There we go. Alright. Now we can play the funny game with funny Edgeworth guy. Alright. Look, it's him, Miles Edgeworth, real in the video game. Alright, yeah. And you get to see my mouse just because with Ace Attorney on DS, I tend to actually use the touchscreen with my mouse. So, hold on, I'm just gonna make sure audio. There's the. Alright, yeah, you're already turned down a little. Turn you down just a little more. Alright, well, welcome in. It's time to play the game. And yes, I will read the dialogue because I had a lot of fun doing that in Deltarune. So, let's begin with episode 1, Turnabout Visitor. March 14th, 1:16 a.m. Ooh, that's pretty late. That's past my bedtime. To make sure the defendant is found guilty, what other choice do I have? That's the job of a prosecutor, after all. That may be true, but why? Why go this far? Sorry, maybe I wasn't clear enough, but a guilty verdict is all that matters to me. No matter what the cost. Yo, he just committed a murder. That's like illegal. Oh geez, guys, I wonder who the killer is. I wonder who the killer is. What a shock. I'm a prodigy among prosecutors. Always have been, always will be. Cap. March 14th, 2:05 a.m. Prosecutor's Building, 12th floor hallway. It's him! It's Edgeworth! It's Miles Edgeworth! Real! In the video game! It's hard to believe that I've been away from my office for a whole month. I hope Detective Gumshoe has been keeping an eye on my office and keeping it clean. Actually, just gonna move the game window over a little. Alright. The door is unlocked. Detective Gumshoe? What's the smell? It's very familiar. Blood? What the? Oh, that's a dead person. That's illegal. You can't die. What's the meaning of this? Freeze. Identify yourself. Shut up. Well, hello, Mr. Shut Up. My name is Miles Edgeworth. Get the fuck out of my office. You got some nerve committing murder in a prosecutor's office. Is that a threat? Let me make one thing very clear. What? No one gets away with committing murder in my office. No one. It's a ghost! My name is Miles Edgeworth, and I work as a prosecutor in my local district. Little did I know that upon my return home after a month abroad, I would be thrust into a multitude of cases in some very frantic and busy days. March 14th, 2:56 a.m., High Prosecutor's Office, room 1202. I finished photographing the victim's body, sir. Very well. Please continue your investigation. Yo, that's like the name of the game. Yes, sir. Ah! Mr. Edgeworth, sir, are you okay? Gumshoe, my beloved! Keep it down, detective. This is a crime scene. When I heard that a murder had taken place in your office, I ran up here straight away. It's him. It's him. The best character. This is Dick Gumshoe. He is a detective with the local precinct, and the one they assigned to handle this murder case for the time being. You're looking a little pale, sir. Are you hurt? No, I'm perfectly fine. However... Ah, look what they did to your office. It's totally trashed. I'll say. The culprit sullied my floor with dirt rather well. Yeah, definitely. Only the dirt. Only the dirt is what is wrong here. Nothing else. Definitely no, like, corpses or anything ruining the floor, you know? No one gets away with tracking mud into my office. Whoa, sounds like you're getting really burned up over this whole thing. This crime was committed in my office, so it is my responsibility to solve it. Ho-ho, that's just like you, Mr. Edgeworth. Unite pretty good? Yeah, I like Unite. Unite's pretty good. I'm enjoying it. Okay, time to do some investigating. Oh my god, guys, we have to do investigating in the game called Ace Attorney Investigations. I can't believe this. Agreed. Our first course of action is to gather relevant facts and leads. I'm gonna destroy these criminals with facts and logic. We must not overlook anything, no matter how small, if we are to find the truth. So I'll keep any leads or information we find etched in the forefront of my mind. Speaking of things that pique my curiosity, why of all places did investigating in a game about an attorney? That's stupid. Why of all places did the murder occur in my office? I get the nagging feeling that this is something important to keep in mind. Yeah, I was wondering that myself, sir. I mean, you can't really say it's just a coincidence, can you? No, not really. Especially because of this. The key to your office? What do you mean, sir? If you think about it carefully and use logic, it should become clear to you. Logic? By finding the connection between two pieces of information and connecting them, new information is born. That is the end result of using logic. So how do you use it? Let's go over to the Ace Attorney superpowers real quick. So, Phoenix, he has like, living lie detector. He can tell when anyone is lying and can just force it out of them. And, you have Apollo. He can, like, look at you and he can tell when you're lying just based on how your body twitches. Your finger wavers a little when you're telling a lie, and he's like, nope, I saw that, get fucked. Miles Edgeworth, basic logic. First, I recall information through the logic button and connect them together. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. Why didn't I think of this? Now, to touch the logic button and recall the facts. Connect my thoughts. Oh my god! For security reasons, all prosecutors' doors are outfitted with locks, which means it would have been hard for the murderer and the victim to get in here. Yo, is this the power of logic? Oh my god, I never would have figured that out. Yo, that play button do be looking like YouTube. True! Ergo, it's impossible to dismiss the location of this crime as mere coincidence. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking, sir. There must be a reason why someone infiltrated my room. What was the killer after? You're really on the ball today, Mr. Edgeworth. That's some beautiful logic, sir. Yes, well, when you follow leads to their conclusion, only the truth remains. However, if the information doesn't line up properly, I may stray far from the truth as well. But if I think carefully before piecing leads together, the logic should flow. Well, let's get started with our investigation, shall we? Yes, sir. The basis of any good investigation is to examine everything, sir. I know that, and when I want to examine something, I simply touch the examine button. Oh, if you ever feel lost and want to talk, just touch the partner button, okay? I'll give you great precise advice as an ace investigator, sir. Sigh. Something to try later if I have free time, I suppose. Gumshoe, my beloved. Alright, Mr. Officer, what do you have to say for yourself? Do you have anything to report? Sir, yes, sir. Nothing out of the ordinary right now, sir. And yet, there's something out of the ordinary right in front of my eyes. Talk about a contradiction. Something out of the ordinary, huh? I should look around a bit more. Hey, what about you? How is it coming along? Please, I need absolute silence. Fingerprint lifting is a delicate art. Well, I never. Alright. You know, maybe examining the corpse will help get me relevant information. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious among us looking nook and cranny. Alright. Oh yeah, this is the old Ace Attorney, so I don't actually know if something's examinable or not until I actually examine it. Let's see here. There's blood all over his lower abdominal area. It looks like the bullet passed clean through his stomach area, sir. In other words, he was shot. No way, really? I'm so shocked. Yep, and until the autopsy's done, I don't think we'll know much more than that. Please, have the body sent to the morgue once they're done processing the crime scene. Are you going to be okay with keeping track of the evidence we find, sir? Of course. This is the safest way I know to keep track of it all. Alright, if you say so. Keep all the evidence I find, either in or with my organizer. When I want to re-examine a piece, I have but to touch the organizer button. The organizer isn't only for evidence. I keep... It's probably a good idea to make habit of checking the facts often. Alright. Let's see here. There's blood all over his... I already saw that. What do we have here? Hey, I think I've seen one of these before. It's a police badge, detective. Oh, hey, I have the exact same thing, actually. What a coinkydink. I love you, Gumshoe. Let's take a look inside. Mr. Buddy Faith. It would appear that our victim was a detective, just like you. Your files all over the floor, sir. They probably fell during the struggle between the victim and his killer. Aw, and I tried so hard to keep this place spotless while you were away. I mean, this just rendered all the time and effort I put in pointless. I don't recall ever asking you to clean my room. Well, I watered the flowers every day just like you requested, sir. I just added cleaning to the list as a weekend special. For about half a day every Saturday, I'd come in and clean this place until it sparkled. Does he have a life? Edgeworth. Let's see. Nothing of interest here. I don't believe it. I packed those files on these shelves so tight that not even an earthquake could make them fall off. But just look at them. At this rate, the rest of the files won't be able to withstand an earthquake at all. A problem to be sure. Well, once the investigation is over, we'll put them back up on the shelf. Well, hold on, I just noticed the top. Yeah, there we go. Fixed it. There we go. Alright. Is that everything? I'm going to assume so. Is everything I can gather from here? Ah, watch out for the teacup fragments over there, sir. That killer is going to pay. This tea set. Yikes, you're really mad over this. This tea set is very dear to my heart and can only be bought in England. Costs more than your whole month's paycheck. What? Now I feel like the killer's wasted one of my monthly paychecks. I wonder if this gun on the ground has anything to do with this. Stop an econ homework for today. Alright. Nice. What have we here? Could this perhaps be the murder weapon? I don't know. I don't know, Edgeworth. Is the random gun laying on the floor the murder weapon of the guy who died because of a gunshot? If so, it would mean that the killer made their escape after disposing of their gun here. I think I've seen one of these before. Care to enlighten me as to where? Oh, I know. I was issued the exact same model, I think. Sigh, detective. I don't really like guns all that much. I mean, they're really dangerous. Now that I think about it, you do see this model around the precinct a lot, sir. I don't use mine much, except in emergencies, so that's why I didn't recognize it. So it's the same type of revolver as the ones used by this precinct's detectives. I seem to have gathered a few pieces of pertinent information. Now to calmly use some logic and figure out if any of them are connected to each other. Alright. Alright, well, this is a common Ace Attorney special. Save states. I'm gonna be saving and loading these states a lot. Alright, I think these two are probably connected. Nope. I'm gonna check these two. Let's see. Nope. Wait, actually, these two might be connected. Now that I think about it, if he's because you know if he's a detective, yeah. The revolver, the standard model used by detectives. Could it have belonged? I don't know anything about this game, so I can't say anything. No, you just get to react along with. You get to react along to all the craziness with me. Because I've seen parts of this game. I watched Jello Apocalypse's video on it, but I've never actually played it, so I don't know a lot of the specifics. So, could it have belonged to our recently departed Detective Gumshoe? Could you please thoroughly check the victim's body one more time? Yes, sir. On it now, sir. Excuse me, pal. Let's see. What have we got here? Mr. Edgeworth, sir. This guy's wearing a gun holster. So it appears that our killer somehow managed to take the victim's gun from him. Let's see what else we can find out about this revolver. As I always say, you've got to look really carefully at each piece of evidence. Use the scroll wheels to rotate an object. There's no such thing as a bad angle. Use the slide bar or the X and Y arrows to zoom in and out to get the nitty-gritty. Looks like only one round was fired from this. Wow, so the killer killed the Vic with just one shot after wresting the gun from him? Sounds like the guy knew how to handle a gun, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? We have no proof for now, but that is a distinct possibility. This is about all we're going to find out. We should send the body to Jim. Why oh why? How could this have happened to a guy like you? Are you alright? Don't touch me. Leave me alone. Just let me be. Sorry, but I can't do that. The investigation is still ongoing, so please refrain from touching the body. The body? The body? Don't talk about him like he's just some lump of flesh. Look at him. Jim looks like he's just turned in for the night. Sure, just in a bloodstained suit, pal. Where are my manners? Oh, hey, it's the killer. We did it, guys. We did it, gang. We solved the crime. Let's go. We found the killer. Aren't you that prosecutor? Why, yes, I am. I'm Jacques Portsman, prosecutor. Jim here was my partner in crime busting. I'm Miles Edgeworth, and like you, I am also a prosecutor. Detective Dick Gumshoe, sir. So you're Miles Edgeworth. I guess this is your office. Yes, that is correct. Then it was you. You're the one who killed Jim. Cap. Hey, don't go around jumping to conclusions, pal. Just calm down, okay? I will not. I know how things work around here. High prosecutors' office doors all have locks built into them. And only the owner of the office has the key to his or her own office door. So... I mean, yeah, I guess Miles does know a few things about getting framed for murder. That is correct. However, I was not the one who killed your partner. Yeah, Mr. Edgeworth has been overseas on a business trip this whole time, pal. And the key to the door was with me the entire time, okay? So the only one who could get in here was me. Ho 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 ho. Wait, that means... I'm not sure what that means. Oh, gumshoe. So it was you then. You're Jim's killer. No way, pal. You've got it all wrong. Everyone, calm down. Mr. Portsman, correct? If you are a real prosecutor, you should know to stay collected. The investigation has only just begun. Isn't it too early to be drawing conclusions? Alright, I get the point. You're right, my mistake. I tend to get a little too hot-headed sometimes. You sure are one cool customer though, Mr. Edgeworth. I've heard all the rumors about you. You're the great genius prosecutor. You're something of a legend, you know? Anyway, let's call a truce and work together, okay? Now, how about a handshake to seal the deal? A pleasure to work with you. You guys were conducting your investigation, right? Sorry for barging in like that. Carry on, then. It's your room, after all. Thank you, I intend to. I just want a little more time to say goodbye to Jim. You there, sir. I want you to capture this scene on film for me. My final farewell to my partner, Jim. I should probably give them some space. Hold on, I just want to look through the... So who looks the most sussy? Maybe it was the guy who we saw shooting the man in the intro cutscene. Ah, your jacket, sir. What's it doing on the floor? It must have fallen off the wall when the killer tried to threaten me by firing a round. So the killer not only shot the victim, but they shot your jacket as well? They dared to shoot the ultra special jacket that you made your special prosecutorial debut in? What if they had shot through it? It would have been a disaster. It's not worth getting worked up over, Detective. Not when there's something more here. He's just practicing for the shooting Olympics. True! Huh? Like what? Take it you haven't noticed it yet, Detective. There is a giant contradiction right here in front of us. Really? Did I say contradiction? He must be rubbing off on me. I'm starting to sound like him. I forgot. I forgot. In the investigations games, Miles is legally unallowed to speak the name Phoenix right. But I have my own methods and I will conduct this investigation my way. When the scene before me contradicts a piece of evidence or seems off, that's when my deductive skills come into play. When, hello Perry. Welcome in. First, I have to find the spot that holds the contradiction. I wonder if it's this conspicuous gunshot. This is it. This bullet hole is where the contradiction lies. When I spot something that's off, I should touch the deduce button with conviction. When I have found sufficient proof to prove the contradiction, I present it. This is how I do things. I mean, it would be the gun. This bullet hole is the contradiction. What do you mean, sir? It's elementary. 2 shots were fired in this room. The first felled the victim, and the second felled this frame. Hey, that's right. However, this gun was only fired once. Hey, that's true too. Which means that one of these 2 bullets was fired from a different gun. Did the killer have another gun prepared for tonight? Shots fired. Who got roasted this time? By the way, I noticed something, sir. Yes? What's that thing sticking out from behind the frame? Ah, that? It's a secret safe. A secret safe? Oh, I smell money. I'll spare us the trouble and just say it. Nothing like what you're imagining is inside. Now, if you could kindly move this frame out of the way. Roger that. Achoo, achoo. Talk about dusty. I suppose that's what happens when I'm not here to dust it once in a while. I had no idea there was a safe here. I had kept it clean for you, sir. So when did you put this thing in? It wasn't something I installed personally. Every prosecutor's office has one. Really? I had no idea. Well, only prosecutors are supposed to have knowledge of their existence. So, what's inside, Mr. Edgeworth? Right now, nothing. We only use the source specially important evidence when a trial is in session. That's it? Talk about squashing my hopes and dreams. Yo, hopes and dreams? Epic Undertale reference? Real? Russians always inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Well, I mean... Now this is odd. You found something, sir? This keypad, don't you find it to be a bit too clean? Yeah, there's a thick layer of dust all around it, but not on the keypad itself. You there, the forensic scientist. Yes, sir. Could you please dust this area for fingerprints? You got it, sir. I couldn't find, let alone lift, a single print. Looks like it was wiped down well. As I thought. It appears that logic is the only way around this setback. Time to rationally and calmly connect the dots with the information we have. Alright. Well, this would have to do with the safe. Killer's goal is probably the safe. Yep, I'm so smart. Giga brain. I believe I figured out what the murderer was after. Well, what is it, sir? The fact that the safe was wiped clean of fingerprints suggests that the criminal had at least attempted to open my safe, making the culprit's motive for breaking and entering theft, I believe. I wonder if knowing that the motive behind this break-in was theft changes what the other pieces of information could tell me about this crime. Alright, let's see. I'm gonna try the handgun first. Nope, yeah, I had a feeling. PP poo poo. Hello, Jamie, welcome in. Alright, yeah. There's a possibility that the files splayed on the floor are not the result of a struggle between the victim and his killer. Oh, you mean like it could be from when the killer tried to find something, sir? Precisely. We need to figure out if any of the files have been stolen. Yes, sir. I'm gonna shelve files like you've never seen before, even at a library. Everyone just took my... Only took my GP2. Let's go. Let's go, Jamie. Get those anti-sads. Sure. Let's give that a try. Why do all the good ones always die young? Surely you must ponder that every once in a while, Mr. Edgeworth. No matter how much we lament, the dead will not come back to life. All we can do is search for the truth. And, so what are we supposed to do? How do we go about finding the truth? First, we calmly restore the files to their rightful place. You got it. Here, let me help. So this file goes here, and that book goes there. You sure know a lot about where things go, despite it being Mr. Edgeworth's office. 'Cause I'm the one who keeps it tidy, pal. Okay, done. It would appear that the murder was definitely committed here. Ugh, the bloodstains on the bookshelf are still fresh. I suspect that the victim was killed in a standing position, hence the prints on the shelf. And then the guy fell on the floor, right? The blood on the floor is kind of grossing me out. Detective, I don't have the time to deal with your weak stomach right now. Ugh. Ace Attorney predicted Pokemon Sun and Moon confirmed? Real! You know I'm no good, sir. I'm certain there's something wrong with this picture. Victim's handprints. He must have tried to support himself with his hands here after being shot. There are prints on the floor, too. Those must have been made when, unable to stay standing, he dropped to the floor. I put them all back, just as they should be, sir. Doesn't look like anything's missing, although it does look like the killer moved the body to flip through my shelves. I wonder if they found what they were looking for. It appears that the victim was in a sitting position here after being shot. Oh, so that's why the seat of the victim's pants has blood on it. That would be the logical conclusion. So this is where the bullet lodged itself after it went through the victim, huh? For the bullet to be lodged so squarely in a file spine indicates that the files were ransacked after the shooting had occurred. Then I guess the victim was moved because he was in the killer's way. I'm guessing I'm supposed to deduce something. I mean, if he was in a standing position when he was shot... If he's in a standing position when he's shot, then that bullet hole shouldn't be there, right? He was shot in the abdomen, and he was standing. There's no way his abdomen would be down there. Just gonna... Let's see. The spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold. Let's see. Let's try this. Yep, this is clearly a contradiction here with this bullet hole. What do you mean, sir? You don't see? Quite simply, the bullet hole itself is too low. Alright, yeah, I was right. Okay, that's good. Using my brain juices. If the victim was shot in the stomach, the hole should be much higher up. Way too smart. Literally gigabrain. I'm so gigabrain. Hold on, I'm gonna... Just gonna check some pings real quick. This game seems fun. Honestly, you should play any of the Ace Attorney games, Jamie. They're all really good. That would be illogical. The victim leaned against this shelf here after being shot, which suggests that he was standing when he was shot. Then that means... Wait, what does that mean, sir? It means you need to use your brain every once in a while instead of mine, detective. God damn, Edgeworth. In any case, it means someone made a faulty assumption. It was from this mistake that our current contradiction was born. What is the faulty assumption that caused this problem with the bullet hole's position? I love save states. The order of the files? I believe the order of the files is a bit off. You mean I put them back in the wrong order just now? Hey, actually, I think the labels on the files are wrong, sir. Oh. Yeah, you see here how the files that were shot begin with the number 0? What are those doing all the way down there after 1, 2, and 3? That's really weird. Actually, the way they are organized now is the correct order. They are exactly as I see them in my mind's eye. But the numbers are all out of order. Those white binders are special, so they are arranged a little differently. But from this, we know that the files were not in this order when the crime occurred. Aha, so that's it. I believe the killer made the same incorrect assumption as you just did, detective. Let's rearrange the files in a numerical order and see what we find out. Think it'd be okay to prop the body back up to show how it was before it was moved? They finished processing the crime scene, so I don't see why it wouldn't be. If you please, Detective Gumshoe. Gumshoe with the corpse. As I suspect that the bullet hole is now where it logically should be. The killer went through my files first before shooting Mr. Faith. And then put the files back in numerical order. then proceeded to shoot the victim. But why would someone kill a man, then look through your files one more time? Puzzling indeed. The files were thrown into disarray twice, once before and once after. But why? That is strange. Why would someone do that? It's time to give it another look. Oh, I see this. This. What is that? Why does it say gumshoe on there in blood? I'd say it's some incredibly incriminating evidence. Yes, indicative of criminal activity indeed. No, wait, there's gotta be some mistake. Mr. Edgeworth, sir, help me. Say something, sir. It appears that one of my files was stolen. Is that all, sir? What about me and my situation? Is this what the killer was really after? Theft. Theft is very illegal. I can excuse murder, but theft? That's where I draw the line. Looks like Jim was able to leave us the name of his killer in the end. This most important message managed to reach us. I'm telling you, it wasn't me. Gumshoe. You can't be terribly pleased to hear that your beloved partner is the guilty party. Well, Gumshoe definitely is beloved. If you're going to accuse Detective Gumshoe of being the culprit, I sincerely hope you have some proof to back it up. Jim's words, they're more than enough, wouldn't you say? If that's how you want. What if the G in gumshoe is pronounced like a J? Jumshoe. Yo! You got it. I don't like this one bit. There's something strange about this man's attitude. And there must be some sort of flaw to his logic waiting for me to dig out. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you going to do? What I always do in court. I'm going to cross-examine him. One way or another, I'll expose the flaw in his logic with this technique. Ooh, how do you do that? Can you explain it to me, sir? Gumshoe. Gumshoe, my man. You have been cross-examined multiple times by this point. Just because it's Edgeworth doing it doesn't mean you suddenly forgot everything. Might as well. Gumshoe clearly needs help. Alright, first, I listen to the witness's testimony. If I find a flaw in the testimony, something that contradicts the evidence, I open the organizer and present the piece of contradictory evidence. Present something, I simply touch the present button, but that's old news. But it's not like there's going to be a flaw in their testimony every time, right? Correct, and at those times I need to press the witness by touching the press button. Sometimes by pressing, I can draw out new information and new or modified testimony. I think I get it, sir. I'll be sure to try this technique out during investigations, too. Very well. I'll even show you how it's done. Now watch carefully. Oh boy, time for the standard Ace Attorney gameplay. Alright. Detective Gumshoe, you stole Jim's gun from him and shot him dead. Further, you messed up the files to make it look like you had committed theft instead. That's why you moved Jim's body that was sitting in front of the bookshelf. But thanks to that, you didn't notice the bloody letters his body was hiding. And it will be his final words that you will be brought to justice. You intend to argue that the victim's dying message points to this... Why is his hair so gravity-defying? Welcome to Ace Attorney. I can hear his Jim voice, and he's calling for his killer's arrest. Are you sure you're not mishearing his words, Mr. Portsman? There is no way Detective Gumshoe is the culprit here. I will find the flaw in this man's logic, and expose it with credible evidence. Alright, time to do my favorite Ace Attorney thing. Press everything.
Hold it.
You know, there's something I've been meaning to ask. What is it? Why do you call the victim Jim, when clearly his name is Buddy Faith? Isn't it obvious? Jim is the perfect name for my companion. Pressing buttons. I love pressing buttons. Yo, I do that every time I play a video game. Jack and Jim, don't those two names go together like peanut butter and jam? But Jim isn't even close to the guy's real name. Well, Jack's and Buddy's just sounds off somehow. Besides, he was the third of a bunch of guys that decided to nickname Jim. Jim 3? Yo, new Jim just dropped. He talks about the victim like he was his pet. Further, you messed up the files to make it look like you would commit the theft instead.
Hold it!
Do you really think it was necessary to dishevel my shelves twice to do that? That's true. Okay, then maybe his real intent was theft. Hey, are you accusing me of stealing something from Mr. Edgeworth? It's a possibility. Maybe your salary's been cut so much that life is getting a little too rough to handle. Don't do my boy like that. No! I'll have you know that I eat 3 square meals every day, pal. Okay, so all 3 of them happen to be instant noodles, but based? Poor thing. What an evil prosecutor you were paired up with, and what a motive, no? That's when you moved Jim's body that was sitting in front of the bookshelf.
Hold it!
And why would Detective Gumshoe do such a thing? Because the body was getting in his way. He had to mess up your bookshelf somehow, right? Anyway. Thanks to that, you didn't notice the bloody letters his body was hiding.
Hold it!
Why do you think that the killer didn't notice the bloody letters? The book was covering it quite well, wouldn't you say? That's how he missed it. But judging by what I've seen, it doesn't take much for your detective to miss something. Who do you think you are? You know nothing about me, pal. That's a lot a person can understand about another from first impressions alone. I can't say I disagree with him on that point. Why don't you say something, sir? Not you too, Mr. Edgeworth. Despite his lack of attention to detail, I don't believe the detective to be the culprit. Nobody could have overlooked the bloody letters, and I can prove it with evidence. Can I ask for a better setup? The game finishing spike. Yeah, I don't. Stolen book was behind. Yeah, I was about to say that, Jamie. The stolen book was behind where the body was. Well, then just gotta do my safety saves.
Objection!
Yep, the music stopped, so I know I was right. Perhaps you're not aware, Mr. Portsman, but there is a serious flaw in your logic. Heh, bringing a bit of the courtroom into this, I see. No problem, I'm game. I can't help but find it odd. Excuse me? Odd that a fellow prosecutor would be brought down by the power of his own office. What are you talking about? Oh, you're joking. I get it. Ha ha ha. I have the time to laugh, then you have the time to take another closer look at this. Do you still not see? If not, may I direct your attention to the missing file? What? That's impossible. What's impossible, Mr. Portsman? Nothing. The files on that shelf are all about a certain case. When the killer went to take the file after murdering your partner, I highly doubt they could have missed the bloody letters written on the spines. It's possible that they could have taken the file before committing the murder. I think it's pretty obvious that the file was stolen after it was written on. The missing letters and detectives' names where the files should be is proof. Yeah, I mean the S is gone and there's only half an H. Detective Gumshoe really was the culprit of this case. I highly doubt that even he could have overlooked his own name written in blood on the files. Especially as a detective who can't stand the sight of blood. Gasp. Yo, so we already know this man's the killer because of the opening cutscene. I hope his breakdown, he just fucking breaks his spine by bending 90 degrees backwards. Which means what exactly? What does that make this dying message? It makes the work of a criminal intent on tampering with the crime scene. That's so low. I can't believe the criminal tried to pin this whole thing on me, sir. I'm gonna get him, sir. You'll see. I'm gonna have them under arrest in no time. Well, Mr. Portsman. Brilliant. Absolutely splendid. Logic deserving of Olympic gold. I appreciate the praise, but it doesn't change the fact that your reasoning is flawed. Meh, you win some and you lose some. That's how life goes. Glad everyone's so cheery, even though I feel more dead than alive. Same, Gumshoe. Same. Yeah, but you know, it really is a shame. I really didn't want to have to bring this up, however. What is it this time? Are you still after me, pal? Humor me for a second. Who has the key to this office? That would be me. Mr. Edgeworth just proved that I'm innocent, pal. That's absolutely right, and I acknowledge your innocence. Then why do I sense that you still have something to say? Well, I was thinking, did you know there is one other person with a key to this office? One other person? Hey, you there. Yes, sir. What is it, sir? Would you kindly fetch and escort that lovely young lady here for me? A lady? The girl is a member of this building's security. Think of it as a material witness. Security? Did you say security? No, stop it, pal. Don't. What's wrong with him all of a sudden? I believe she needs no introduction. I have called upon Miss Maggie Bird, or, yeah, Bird, a member of security. Oh, hey, I know you. You're that girl from the second game, and also the third game. The one whose boyfriend got killed because he dressed up as a cop one time. Or because he never changed out of his cop uniform. Detective Gumshoe, sir. Maggie. Mr. Bird is the security guard on watch tonight. I see. And your point is? My point is that she could very well have used it. And by it, I mean the master key, which can open all the office doors in this building. What? If you are not the guilty party, Detective Gumshoe, then the only other person with access to this room is Miss Bird. How dare you? I would never sneak into someone's room. That's right. I refuse to believe that Maggie's the culprit, pal. It was me. That's right. I did it. Good job, Gumshoe. We take that as a confession, Detective? Well, it wasn't really me, but it definitely wasn't Maggie, pal. So yeah, it was me. If it was, you'd have no problems with that, right? Please refrain from flying off the handle, Detective. There's no need for such theatrics. Listen to your boss, Detective. He understands what I'm saying here. That girl is the only one who could have committed the crime, and for one simple reason. Oh boy. Reason for suspicion. Yo, looking kinda sus? It's pretty obvious that Miss Bird snuck into your room using the master key. I mean, Detective Gumshoe isn't the one who opened the door. And that leaves only Miss Bird as our prime suspect. His stupid coat thing is weird. Oh yeah, I hate it. I hate it. Please stop. Please stop, sir. Please, 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 I am begging you. Wait, hold on, hold on. Okay. Making it all that more probable that she was the one who faked the dying message. It's like he's trying to initiate the nasty. Oh, no, Jamie, why'd you have to bring that up? So you're saying that she used the master key. Incredibly incriminating evidence, wouldn't you say? That's what you claimed about the evidence earlier as well. That was then, this is now. The flow of a good match always changes during a rally. It's all about your reflexes and reaction times, especially for an athlete like me. Does this guy play tennis? I wonder if there's anyone other than Miss Bird who could have used the master key. It seems that the only way to get Mr. Portsman to give me more details is to press him. Well, Edgeworth, I was already going to do that.
Hold it!
Dude, IDK, but he's wearing a fucking science coat and an Olympic medal. Yeah. Looks like an idiot. I bet you that Olympic medal isn't even real. I bet it's like one of those chocolate medals, you know? Like, you know how they have those chocolate coins? All murderers do, Jamie. True. Are you sure Miss Bird is the only member of security who could have used the master key? It's like, it's the shooting Olympics, remember? True, true. That wasn't him. He wasn't doing a murder in the opening cutscene. He was just at the shooting Olympics. There's only one person on staff at this time of night, and tonight she's it. Isn't that right, Miss Bird? That's, true, but I wasn't able to use the master key at the time of the crime, sir. wasn't able to. What's that supposed to mean? Yes, moving on. I'd hate to get sidetracked by something unrelated. What do you mean unrelated? I want to hear what she has to say, pal. But you can't really trust her not to tell lies. Plus, I hate wasting time. I got Grigom. Oh, you got Garchomp and Unite. Nice. Let's go, PB. Poggers. Gomp. Should I hear Miss Bird out? Ask for more details. Yes, this is very vital. Mp. Not so fast. I too am interested in hearing what Miss Bird has to say. Didn't I just say it'd be a waste of time? We don't need to hear her lies. I'll be the judge of that. Miss Bird, if you please. I discovered that the Master Key was missing at around 1 a.m., sir. What do you mean by missing? As in, it wasn't in the security booth, sir. The killer must have stolen it. Mr. Portsman, I believe this to be an important piece of testimony, don't you? Sigh. I can't believe that someone like you would be taken in by such words. I'm not lying, sir. If that's the case, then I'd like to know why you have the Master Key now. I don't quite know. It just reappeared all of a sudden, sir. Ha, a likely story. And where's your proof that the key was stolen to begin with? Sorry about that. Mom needed help with something. Alright, back to the video gaming. Bet you just forgot where you put it and then found it again. I never lose things. I can practically guarantee that. With me, if something disappears, it's usually because someone stole it. Yeah, pal, trust me, you don't want to test how bad her luck is. Unfortunately, I can't deem this piece of testimony as conclusive. Glad you agree, Mr. Edgeworth. Ugh, but... You still haven't established Maggie's motive for breaking into Mr. Edgeworth's office. Her motive? Didn't we already establish that it was theft? Oh, he's doing the jacket again. He's doing the jacket again. I mean, the culprit clearly went through the bookshelves and at least tried the safe. It's as Mr. Portsman says, Detective. I can't ignore the fact that all the evidence points towards a motive of theft. But I'm done taking blows. It's time to counterattack with a few facts of my own. And from the messed up shelves to the wiped down safe, I'd say thievery. Clearly, I think it wants me to present something here. I'm going to... I feel like it's the safe.
Objection!
Yeah, it was the safe. We're still in the early game, so I don't have to do any crazy thinking yet. Do you wish to continue insisting that Miss Bird was set on stealing something? Why not? It's the truth, after all. I was also by your logic that we came to the whole thievery conclusion anyway. That may be, but you must also be aware of the fact that the safe is a secret safe, the existence of which is only privy to prosecutors. Ah, I find it a little hard to believe that a hidden safe was part of her cunning plan. But she could have found it by accident while she was turning everything else upside down. I highly doubt that. I'd say the culprit knew exactly what they were looking for. After all, only the bookshelf and the safe were targeted. Yeah, even I didn't know about that safe, pal. And that means there's no way Maggie could have known about it either. Then are you proposing that the killer is a prosecutor? Interesting conclusion. That's definitely looking more and more probable. What's wrong, prosecutor? Do you have a different suspect in mind now? I... Curses. Why? What made you? What's with the angry face all of a sudden? It's all my fault. What do you mean? Did he confess? Is this... Nah. It's Jim. He knew about the existence of the secret safes. What did you just say? We were partners, like inseparable conjoined twins. That's why I told him. I filled him in on the secret safes. And that means... Yeah, I know. I had only just told him too. Obviously, it was wrong of me to tell him. I'm gonna... Hold on. Just looking at some things. Alright. I still can't quite believe it, but the thief who broke into your room was probably Jim. Now he's claiming that the victim was the thief? And you were simply trying to stop him, weren't you? Miss Maggie Bird. Excuse me? I mean, you are a security guard, right? That's your job. But killing is going a bit too far, even in your risky profession. What the? You're still accusing Maggie of the murder? Yes and no. I mean, she had stumbled upon Jim, who had probably drawn his gun. I get it. It was self-defense, wasn't it? No, I could never do something like that. Not even as a security guard, sir. Plus, even if he was the thief, he wouldn't have a key to this office. Which is precisely why he had to steal it, wouldn't you say? It was Jim who stole the master key. Ah. Pretty impossible for a supposedly stolen key to be here with us, unless you retrieved it from Jim after you killed him. Mr. Portsman, are you honestly accusing your own partner of being a thief? I don't want to admit it, but it's the only way for everything else to make sense. Has he no honor? Now then, I think we're done here. The investigation waits for no man. Would you people be so kind as to see yourselves out? Can't kick us out. This is Mr. Edgeworth's office. Hey, Manatee, welcome in. Gaming. He dances like a Pokemon Ranger boss. It's been a bit since I played Pokemon Ranger, so I'll have to take your word on this. But I'm the one who's been assigned to this case. You are all suspects to varying degrees, and therefore ineligible to run this show. Listen, pal, how many times do I have to say this? Maggie can't be the culprit. Detective Gumshoe, calm yourself. But sir, we have no choice but to accommodate his request, for now. Haha, thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. At least one of you understands. Now then, if you could remove yourselves from my crime scene, I'd be most grateful. Mark my words, Mr. Portsman, we will meet again. If that's a formal request from the legendary prosecutor himself, then I suppose so. Now don't disappoint me, you hear? To be continued. Ooh. Alright. I'm gonna go make food, BRB. Alright, see you, Jamie. March 14th, 4:18 a.m. It's been like over an hour, jeez. In-game, at least. Well, actually, that makes sense. It's been about an hour in stream. Pi Day? I like how that's the thing you choose to focus on, Ludo. What is with the prosecutor? I can't believe how rude he was. It was unbelievable. Please maintain your professionalism, detective. I'm gonna find some real solid evidence proving Maggie's innocence. You'll see, sir. It's the small things, Woofle. But we've been kicked out of the crime scene, sir. True. So then what now? Looks like my life's fallen into yet another gigantic ditch. Do not despair, Miss Bird. We can overcome this as well. There are many other places and things we should be looking into anyway. Eh? Really, sir? For example, this hallway. The linchpin of his argument against Miss Bird is related to the master key. In that case, this hallway is the perfect place to look for more information. Regarding... Alright, let's get back to investigating. Baller. What is a basketball doing here? Yes, Mr. Portman's prized possession, sir. I heard he also plays soccer, dodgeball, and even tennis. Not a single one of those sports is suitable to be played in a hallway. What is a basketball hoop doing here? Hey, didn't this used to be just outside next to the building a long time ago? So when and why was it moved indoors? I don't remember exactly, but I saw one of the officers drag it up here recently. Drag it? Heard that it wouldn't fit in the elevator, so the poor guy had to bring it himself. All the way up to the 12th floor? You're in quite the pinch, Mr. Edgeworth. To be sure, murder within the walls of the prosecutor's office is no trifling matter. You must find, apprehend, and punish the killer accordingly post-haste. Sounds like a messy case you've got on your hands. If you ever feel lost or need advice, my door is always open. How gracious. I will keep your offer in mind. Who is this guy again? Is everything alright? Yes, sir. If you must know, I weighed myself this morning and I'm finally at 154 pounds. Imagine. Congratulations, I was asking about this hallway in this room. Oh, everything's okay, sir. A word of advice. Stay focused or you may start to lose even more weight. This office. 1203, 1203. Hey, Maggie, whose room is this again? It's Mr. Portsman, sir. So he's my new neighbor, I see. I suppose he moved in while I was away overseas. That's pretty convenient. Won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. 202, the 4 numbers on the number plate alone proclaim this to be my office. Whoops, hey, these number plates slide it right out, sir. They have to be able to take the plate off when a room becomes vacant, you know? Although, the idea that can be so easily removed is kind of... First entry, and according to the guard, no signs that the lock was picked either, sir. Meaning the door really was open with a key. Did you happen to ask if any prints were lifted from the doorknob? Apparently the doorknob's clean as a whistle. Wiped, they think. Whoever this thief is, they did a good job of not leaving any clues behind. I know they want to settle this in court, but they never said basketball court. True. Dog. Real dog. Alright, hold on. I'll be right back. My dog needs to be taken out. Alright, I have returned. Time to backseat. Jake, no, don't! Minimalist yet classy, door made of top quality wood. Sturdily made, making it near impossible to break in by force. It's almost majestic, sir. I wish I could be as stately as this door. Only Gumshoe would praise a door as something greater than himself. Being a detective has its own rewards and a certain virtuous value, I think. If you live up to your full potential, that's a poignant trait that anyone can admire. I see, so you're saying, sir, that being me is the best thing I can do for everyone? Right. That long pause wasn't exactly reassuring, sir. Got the... Is that really it? Guess I'll talk to you. I was wondering if I may speak with you for a bit concerning this case. I've always been a big fan of the courtroom, but this is like a dream where I'm being cross-examined by the Miles Edgeworth. I can't let this chance pass me by. I must remember to ask her about the master keys. To jog her memory by showing my notes to her through the present button. Actually, objection, dumbass. Haven't you heard? You absolute failure. Did the internet not tell you? Donation cutting noises. That garbage excuse of a meme? I'll shove my entire analysis up your ass cause it's fucking wrong. Why, well, you little bitch. You could take a look at this motherfucking updated copy pasta post. Clap. Claps for Cobalt. Claps for Cobalt for winning. You've won. You have won this stream. First, I'll just... Have you ever met the victim before? Well, I've seen him a couple of times before when I had to go to Mr. Portsman's office. So she gets stream keys. True. Mr. Faith was always playing basketball with Mr. Portsman, sir. That sounds like fun. Just once I'd love to play with them. It sounds fun, but the only person ever taking a shot was Mr. Portsman. All Mr. Faith ever did was passing the ball, sir. On second thought, I don't think I'd have... His Nintendo Switch is good enough. I don't think I have fit in with all of them well. Miss Maggie Bird, correct? I take it that you're an acquaintance of the detective? She was under my supervision back when she was still on the force, sir. One day she got caught up in a murder and things started going downhill, so she quit. But I owe a lot to Detective Gumshoe for introducing me to my current employer. So I thought until a few hours ago, right before I was about to clock out for the night. You got caught up in this whirlwind of a case, correct? Don't worry, my whole life has been nothing but a whirlwind of bad luck and failures. Yo, same? Real? Since I was 6 months old when I fell from the... Since I was 6 months old when I fell from the 9th floor of my apartment building. I'd been hit by all sorts of vehicles, gotten sick from all sorts of foods, failed at almost every test I've taken, experienced almost every kind of disaster, and now I even managed to be named a criminal just when I've become a security guard. That's a lot to go through in one lifetime. I know, just when I thought I had finally found my happiness, I wind up getting you and Detective Gumshoe involved in my bad luck. You don't need to worry about me, Miss Bird, nor do you need to worry about yourself. I will solve this case and prove your innocence. All I ask in return is for your cooperation. My life also sucks, I feel you. Yes, sir, Mr. Edgeworth. You can count on me. I'll do all I can to help. Alright, present the master key. So when did you discover that the master key was missing? By the time I realized it, I think it was around 1 AM, sir. And I noticed it was back at around 2:30. Thanks for showing me the guy to go rehearsal. Alright, see ya, Perry. Thank you for stopping by. I was just sitting there on the ledge where the security room's reception window is. But I'm sure that between those two times it was not just gone, but stolen. I'm gonna be looking at the shiny hunt to do. Alright. Good luck on your shiny hunt. Hope you hit the frame. Why is such an important key stored in such an insecure place? It's not like that, sir. We always keep the key further inside the room, away from the window. Always, you say? Except for this time, correct? Well, I admit that was a bit careless. But I had my reasons. I left it out because I was sort of using it at the time. It's after I'd used it that I left it sitting on the ledge. She used the master key? What did you mean by use the master key? Oh, I had to use it to open the door for this prosecutor who had forgotten his key. You mean it's my job as a security guard, right? Ah, what is it? That's right, I just remembered. The prosecutor who forgot his key. It was Mr. Portsman, sir. What? Please tell me more, Mr. Bird, quickly. Or Mrs. Bird, bleh. It was around 12 a.m. Mr. Portsman had forgotten his office key, so he came down to security, sir. And that's when you loaned the master key to him. No way, it's against regulations to loan the master key out to anyone. I walked Mr. Portman to his office and opened the door for him personally, sir. I see. And then what happened after that? Well, he called for me to come close up his office as he was leaving to go home. That was around 1:30, I think. So in summary, for the sake of one forgetful prosecutor, you used the master key twice tonight. Talk about suspicious. I doubt you can say that you've never left your keys at home, Detective. I think this calls for a thorough examination of Mr. Portsman's door. Or since I every suspicious looking nook and cranny. Well, get the emergency meeting ready. Room 1203. I take it this is Mr. Portsman's office, correct? Yeah, you can't mistake it because of that basketball hoop, sir. Oh, that reminds me, Mr. Portsman had actually wanted room 1202 really badly. But since you were already occupying it, Mr. Edgeworth, we put him next door, sir. So why was Mr. Portsman so particular about getting room 1202? I'm not sure, but I bet it's because of something like his birthday is December 2nd. Yep, that's gotta be it. I can't think of another reason why. I can think of it at least 3. But why am I even wasting time thinking about this? Door's locked tight. I bet the old credit card trick wouldn't work here, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? This is the office of a high prosecutor, Detective. These doors would be pretty ineffective if the average cat burglar could get through them. So I guess only a great cat burglar could get in. That must be who our culprit is. Why I advise you to return that conclusion to whatever pawn shop you brought it from. Looks like it has a door in top of wood. It's kind of majestic too. Fits in really well with the ambience of the prosecutor's office. Even Mr. Portsman seemed dignified just because he works behind one of these. Nonsense. A man doesn't become more or less dignified because of where he works. He still seems more dignified than Mr. Payne. Mr. Payne? I suppose custodial work can also be dignified. Aw, they really did him like that. It's Mr. Portman's personal basketball hoop. I can't believe you put something like this in the hallway of a prosecutor's office. But you know, it's actually pretty useful, sir. I haven't gotten lost trying to get to your office since it's been here. How long have I had the same office, and yet you still managed to get lost? The hinge is on the outside. It was the same on Edgeworth's door, too. Yeah. The hinge is on the outside on both doors, so... I feel like I have an idea of what happened. Because they had to mention that these door frames can easily be swapped out. So I have an idea that probably the room number frame key thing right here was swapped with Edgeworth's, and he probably moved the basketball hoop over. Is there anything new I can get from Logic? Is that missing anything? How did you do it at 1:30? Just gonna test this real quick. Oh, yeah, okay. Miss Bird, I'm afraid there's a flaw in your story. What? No way, pal. I mean, sir. You said that you locked up Mr. Portsman's office at around 1:30 a.m., correct? However, the master key had already been stolen at that time. Wow, nothing gets by you, Mr. Edgeworth. You saw that contradiction like a pro. Totally forgot all about that, but thanks to you, I remember it now. You're right, it was around that very time I realized the master key was missing. And? Well, I'm a security guard, sir. I couldn't just admit to losing the master key, could I? So I pretended to lock up his room, sir. You pretended? Like a pretender? Like an imposter? Among Us? Yeah, I used my house key and made it look like I was locking up, sir. So in actuality, you never did relock the door then. Well, I thought that maybe I could go lock it after I found the key. Come to think of it, I guess the door still hasn't been locked properly. But we just said it was locked up. Can I... Yeah, I can deduce something. Alright. We've already established that the door was locked. There's a contradiction here between reality and the evidence. If what Miss Bird has said is true, then why is this door locked tight? Huh? You know, you're right. Miss Bird, are you sure you didn't relock this door? I am certain of it, sir. And I don't think Mr. Portsman noticed it himself that I hadn't. Which means what, sir? It either means that he actually does have the key to his office, or that the door Miss Bird opened wasn't this one at all, but a completely different one. She opened a different door? But how can you prove that? There's an easy way to find out. All we need to do is... we need to examine these. Master key wouldn't matter. I'm going with the number plate. Alright, so the number plate, stay will tell us all we need to know. Everything, really? Like what? Okay, I was thinking a bit too far ahead, I guess. The prints on the doorknob will tell us everything. Hey you, yeah you, pal, do us a favor. See what you can lift from this, okay? So, what did you find out? Waiting for this belligerent nostril flaring, detective. Sir, I found only Mr. Portsman and Mr. Faith's prints on this doorknob. So only two people's prints were found on this, huh? That's pretty decisive, huh? I'm lost, sir. Thinking logically, a certain other person's print should be on this knob as well. Another whose print should be on this? Yeah, Maggie's.
Take that!
Don't you find it odd that the prints of the person who unlocked this door are absent? You mean, yes, the door that Miss Bird opened could not have been this one, but a different one. What have we here? Rest until I expect every suspicious looking nook and cranny. What is this? Looks like a scrap of paper. I'll get it, sir. Let's see. Oh, there's something written on it. So it's all just like we talked about on the phone, but it looks like you're out. Guess I'll catch up to you later. Looks like a note from the victim. Yeah, and it's from Mr. Portsman. Is this basketball property of Mr. Portsman? Yes, sir. He's always ready for a match. Basketball, soccer, dodgeball, tennis. Doesn't matter what sport it is, he's game. Although I think it'd be a little hard to play tennis with this ball, though. That isn't the point you should be focusing on, detective. You're right, sir. Now I know what I should be focusing on. Bad, Mr. Portsman. Someone should teach him to clean his toys up after he's done playing. I think we've reached the end of this conversation. Oh, wait, I see something. There's like an imprint. What's this? What are you looking at, sir? Oh, hey, how about a game? That's okay, detective. I just found the position of this hoop to be a little off. Hey, you're right, sir. Guess it shifted when someone made a seriously sweet slam dunk. The positioning of this hoop is definitely unnatural. I'd better take note of this. That's all, really. I wonder... Oh, security guard. Guard in the guard side. It's like talking to another gumshoe. What am I missing? Because I don't have any logic. What do you have to say, Gumshoe? Sure. Oh, it's nothing, but I noticed that Mr. Portman calls his partner Jim. My cop's named Jim too. I bet one of them was a big fan of that show. Bruh. What am I missing? Oops, I mean no. I highly doubt. This is all I have left right now that I can think of that I haven't checked. Yeah, no, I had a feeling. What haven't I done yet? Oh, I can check here now, I guess. Okay. I wasn't able to do that before, unless I just somehow missed it. It's... isn't that the missing Zero series file, sir? No doubt about it. The bloody letters mark it clear as day. Seems to be a few pages missing. Our thief took only what was necessary and left the rest behind. So what are these Zero files about, sir? I guess they got something worthy stealing in them, huh? Not particularly, it's just a collection of court case files. However... the cases within these files are not mine. Huh? They only belong to the High Prosecutor that used to occupy my current office. I have my reasons, but let's just say I was charged with keeping them as they were. That means the thief must have also wanted the file for a specific reason, right? It would seem so. Only the pages related to that case from 10 years ago are missing. Wonder why anyone would care about such an old case. Alright, yeah. I just somehow missed the little chair thing. I wasn't... I just missed the examine button when I walked by it earlier. Poking around in this hallway has actually paid off quite handsomely. Huh? How so, sir? In a variety of different ways. I think it's time we had a little chat with the real culprit of this case. You know who the killer is? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, as long as my logic is sound, then yes. The mastermind behind this murder is none other than Mr. Portsman. Oh no, I'm so shocked. What? Mr. Portsman? I knew it. That's exactly where my logic senses were telling me too. I suspected him was the incident he accused Maggie of being the killer. That is anything but logical. Lady and gentleman, prepare yourself. What may come, it's time to... Come what may, it's time to knock on Truth's door. March 14th, 5:12 a.m., High Prosecutor's Office, room 1202. Mr. Portsman, I finished processing the bloody letters, sir. Alright, let me take a gander at it. Pass it here. Okay, looking good. You there, take good care of this. Whoa! Well, if it isn't Detective Gumshoe. End of the line for you, Portsman. We've got you now. Call off your dog, Mr. Edgeworth. Is this some kind of joke? It's no joke. We know, Mr. Jacques Portsman, that you are the guilty party in this case. You must be pretty upset getting chased out of your own room. I'd be mad too. So I guess you can stay, if you promise to stay out of our way. You intend to hide your crime under the guise of a prosecutor doing his job? I can sense right through that, the unsightly paper-thin mask you wear upon your cow. Who'd ever thought it would come to this? Actually, come to think of it, your mentor was Manfred von Karma, right? The legendary prosecutor who never lost a single case for 40 long years. There was always this incessant chatter about forged evidence with that guy. Really teaches me that I've got to stay on the lookout for false accusations, you know? Are you done trying to play mind games with me, because they won't work? The only thing you should be using that mouth of yours for is now is explaining yourself. Although that too will only dig your hole deeper. Either way, your game is up. Well, aren't we full of ourselves? Even though you have yet to prove anything. Mr. Portsman's rebuttal. I have no idea what sort of harebrained idea you have in mind, but there's a mountain of evidence that points away from me being the culprit. Besides, how, may I ask, do you propose I unlocked your door and got in here? Look, I feel bad doing this to you, but I've got work to do, so we're done here. Sorry, but we are not finished yet. Boy, you're stubborn. I suppose you're basing your accusations on something? I'll show you what I'm basing my accusations on. With evidence. Based? Based on what? Based on the evidence.
Hold it!
My accusation is a harebrained idea, is it? You tell me. I'd say it is, after all.
Hold it!
Oh? What, pray tell, kind of evidence are we talking about here? Jim was my partner, so you can't say I had a motive for killing him. And, that's it. It's not even an anthill, let alone a mountain. But it's more than enough, wouldn't you agree? Might I recommend that you review what the word evidence means? It doesn't change the fact that the evidence doesn't point to me as the killer. Besides, how I asked you pros, I unlocked your door and got in here. I think that's where I present the key. Fortunately, I believe I have already shown how earlier. Speculations mean nothing, as I still insist I cannot gain access to your room. What should I do now? Should I raise an objection? Raise an objection. You claim to have had no way to open my door. However, is that really the honest truth? Alright, I'll humor you. Go ahead, shoot. Very well, then. I propose that you use this to open my door. First... would I present the key, or the fact that Maggie opened the door? I'm going to try the key first. Yeah. I believe you were able to open my office door, with the master key, no less. Wait. Hold on for a sec. I never laid a finger on that key, as you already know. Precisely. You were able to open my door without lifting a single finger. Well, maybe you did, but only to direct. That's right. You used your finger to direct this person to open my door with the key, yeah.
Take that!
You had asked Miss Bird to open your own office door for you, yes? Yeah. Kinda forgot my key at home. Happens a bit too often for my taste, you know? But the room you had Miss Bird open at that time was not your own, was it? What? You have quite the imagination. Why don't we ask the girl herself whose door she opened, shall we? I'm certain that it was Mr. Portsman's door, sir. I checked the number plate to make sure I was opening the right door, sir. See, Miss Bird backs up my story. Yeah, what if you had misled her to fool her into thinking what you wanted? Ha, and how do you suppose I did that? By switching the number plates on our doors, for example. That's right, they do slide out pretty easily. I was right. That's how he did it. Furthermore, he used one other thing to give a very strong impression. That the door she was opening was yours and not, in fact, mine. What was it that Mr. Portsman used to me, hiding in his room?
Take that!
What? The basketball hoop, sir? It's quite the peculiar fixture in any hallway, let alone a hallway in this building. which is why it left you an unusually strong impression on you. It's an object perfectly suited to this. Set just outside the officer of a peculiar prosecutor. Gwa! That's very true, sir, because there was a basketball hoop sitting there. I thought the door I was opening had to be Mr. Portsman's. There are signs that the hoop had been moved. Sit in front of my office to be sure. I see. So that's how you throw suspicion on people. Thanks for the tip. But I think your conjecture is a little off the racetrack. Now you're just spitting nonsense. I had the girl open my office door. After that, I was in my room the entire time. You don't have a single reason to suspect me. So he intends to claim his innocence to the end, does he? I'm as pure and innocent as my jacket. And Miss Bird is as dirty and guilty as the jacket she wears. My jacket's not dirty. I'll have you know I just washed it yesterday. Please calm down, for I intend to show you who is the one truly covered in slime here.
Hold it!
Nonsense, you say? Yes, because I'm telling the truth here.
Hold it!
Using the master key, of course. Sure, you have a problem with that? That is what the master key is for, right? Perhaps we should place it in an elaborate labyrinth of some sort for people like you. After that, I was in my room the entire time.
Hold it!
And what were you doing in your office? I was doing my usual training regimen. Training regimen? Were you going through your law books from start to finish? Mainly battle practicing. Oh, and some weights. Oh, and I jog when I get the chance. Wow, you must be the buffest prosecutor we have. With the weakest legal muscles, it would seem. I was doing my usual workout, so...
Hold it!
I think I've given you quite a few reasons, actually.
Objection!
But none of those would stand up on their own.
Objection!
Then what about all the evidence? It's all circumstantial. No judge would convict on such flimsy evidence. He seems to be trembling a little. One more little push. All I have to do is find the flaw in his testimony. Ah, messed up. I feel like it's this one. Yeah, wait. Looks like you're out, yeah.
Objection!
There we go. Yeah. Oh, he's doing the temple tap. That was a lie. What are you even talking about? How was that a lie? This is a note that the victim left for you, Mr. Portsman. Funny finger. A note? It was left under your door. Or did you not notice? And right here it says, "But you're out." You were not in your room when the victim came to call on you. So then, where were you, and what were you doing? Ah! It's the funny song! Banger. You were busy stooping around in my room, the very room you had Miss Bird open for you.
Objection!
That's just nonsense. You have no evidence that I made the girl open your door for me. Oh, but I do. I have very decisive evidence. No way. This is proof positive that you had Miss Bird open the door for you. There are signs that it's been moved.
Take that!
I had your door dusted for prints. My door? What for? Come on, I bet you didn't find anything. You sure are good at wasting time. You're right. I didn't find anything. And definitely not Miss Bird's fingerprints. Her prints? What do they have to do with anything? Let's put it this way. If she really was the one who opened your door, then her prints would naturally be on the doorknob she touched. Ah! Further, all of the prints on my office's door have been wiped clean off. I can only assume it's because Miss Bird's fingerprints were on it. Don't you think it's time you gave up your charade? We know you stole into my office with the intent of stealing something from me. And Detective Faith found you out. Possibly because he heard sounds coming from a room whose occupant was on leave. Mr. Portsman, you killed Mr. Faith to silence him. And I had the misfortune to return when I did. You had to threaten me as you escaped. As I said when you had the gun to my back, no one gets away with committing murder in my office. What's so funny, man? Just what's so funny, pal? Well, that looks like... that look of stiff seriousness on the of this office's finest prosecutor, as he makes a huge mistake in accusing me, is simply too much to bear. There's just nothing else like it in the world. What? Mr. Edgeworth just explained it all, and he even backed it up. You're the murderer. Stop trying to be slippery and just admit to the crime already. And, as I said earlier, it's also circumstantial, so full of conjecture. You say you checked my doorknob for prints? Well, I can readily confess that I had wiped that doorknob down too. Eh? And I'll enjoy playing Advanced Among Us. Alright, see ya, Ludo. I'm a little obsessive-compulsive, you see. I didn't want to touch a doorknob that you had touched. Sure, let's go with that. Yeah, definitely. Which is why I wiped the knob down as soon as I could after you opened the door. After that, it makes perfect sense that only Jim and my own prints would be on there. You made that up just now, didn't you? Furthermore, as for the note Jim left me, do you know exactly when that was? For all we know, he could have left it there before I arrived at the office. Like early evening, for example. Are you saying you failed to notice a note in your doorway? Hey, even geniuses fail at times. I was probably too preoccupied by work-related matters, although that's no excuse. Now that's just a flat-out lie. There's no way you didn't notice a note that size. Ah, but you can't prove that, can you? Say something, Mr. Edgeworth. Back me up here, sir. Portsman makes a good point. I can't prove that he didn't simply overlook it. Besides, I have an airtight alibi. Airtight, you say? I only realized that I had one just now as we were talking. Guess it would have been better for all of us if I had told you sooner. Portsman's alibi. If memory serves, you came back to this office at around 2 a.m., correct? And it was then that you had that unfortunate confrontation at gunpoint with the culprit. But at exactly that time, I was down in criminal affairs. Ask around. I'm sure the other detectives will corroborate my story. It's the perfect alibi. Do you really think it's that perfect? Like I said, I don't care. Ask around all you like. You'll see it for yourself. Detective Gumshoe? Yes, sir. I'll go check out his alibi, sir. Be right back. Mr. Edgeworth, I think we're in trouble. It's just like Mr. Portsman said. The guys down in criminal affairs said they saw him at around 2 a.m. You see? All of the evidence points to him being the culprit, so there must be a contradictory point in his alibi somewhere. Just gonna press everything.
Hold it!
You are correct. It was around 2 a.m. Are you sure? It's really important to me that you're spot on with the time. I remember checking my watch then, and make no mistake, it was 2. Oh, giving testimony like a pro. Okay, so you came back to your office at 2. It was then that you had that unfortunate confrontation at gunpoint. I'm just wanna look at body with okay, it doesn't actually say his actual time of death, okay.
Hold it!
As you say. However, you are the only one who claims to have bumped into the culprit. So tell me, did you see the person's face? Was it me who you saw? It was pitch black, so I couldn't actually see.
Objection!
Oh, come now, I'm sure you saw something. Try a little harder, why don't you? I'm beginning to feel like I'm the one being interrogated here. Oh well, it doesn't matter if you remember or not. It only matters that you ran into the culprit. Time I was down in criminal affairs.
Hold it!
So you paid the criminal affairs department a visit. Yep, right after I left the prosecutor's building, I headed straight for the precinct. Ask around, I'm sure you... we did go ask around to confirm your testimony. And it was just as I said, right? Yes, sir. A number of detectives said that they saw you at around that time. See? I have the perfect alibi. That's the ace I had up my sleeve. Impossible. He actually does have the perfect alibi. What's wrong? Why the sudden sullen look on your face? Can't you say anything back, Mr. Edgeworth? Heh, I think we've reached the end of the line and it's time to get off this crazy train. You there. Sir, please escort the young lady out, but remember, be gentle. Maggie! Detective Gumshoe. Is there nothing I can do? There must be a way to turn this situation around. If only I had a clue. Did I miss something that can help me cast doubt on his alibi? The intruder I met could not have been Portsman. Then who could it have been? Oh, I get it. We're working on the assumption that the body had just been killed when Edgeworth got to the office. It has to be this. There was someone else. There was another gun. There were 2 bullets left at the scene of the crime. One that robbed Mr. Faith of his life, and one that nearly robbed me of my jacket. However, the murder weapon only shows sign of being fired once, meaning that it is entirely possible that a second gun was used in my office tonight. But seeing as how the killer had to steal Mr. Faith's gun, I doubt the killer had another gun up their sleeve. Therefore, the second gun could have been the property of an entirely different person, which could mean that there was another person who paid a visit to my office tonight. Oh, geez, I wonder. Supposing there was yet another visitor tonight, that would also resolve the issue of why my shelves were upended twice. We know that the shelves were disturbed once before and once after the murder, so it shouldn't be much of a stretch to think that it was the work of 2 different people. Once by the person who stole the victim's gun and then killed him with it, and once again after the murder by our second culprit, who was the owner of the second gun. If we suppose that the second culprit's gun was the one that was pointed at my back.
Objection!
Mr. Portsman, it seems that I need to amend my assumptions regarding this case. Great, so you finally come to your senses. Mr. Edgeworth, sir, what are you saying? This has been a big misunderstanding on my part from the start. I'd assumed that the person I ran into was the killer, but that may not be the case. What do you mean? The person I ran into was just your average thief. A thief? But sir, doesn't that cause some sort of contradiction in the facts? Not at all. It simply means that the killer was someone else, and it means that in actuality 2 culprits stole into my office tonight. What do you mean 2? Explains both why my shelves were disturbed twice and how there were 2 guns. Mr. Portsman tricked Miss Bird and gained entry into my office. Now you're just leading the argument. You still don't have any actual proof, you know. If you could please go along with my hypothetical scenario for now, Mr. Portsman. In the end, if you really are innocent, you should have nothing to worry about. Grr. Now then, returning to my scenario, Mr. Portsman was out to steal something from me, which is why he checked my secret safe and ransacked my shelves. This is the first time. So then, that would be when the files were put back in the wrong order, right? Correct. And then, just when he was about to look somewhere else, who should walk in but his own partner, Mr. Faith? Well, why did Mr. Faith come into your room, sir? Probably had business with Mr. Portsman, which is why he was in the area. That's when he noticed sounds coming from my office, would be my guess. Oh, because you were supposed to be away, right? And he must have thought it was odd, so he came into this office to check it out. Correct. And as a detective, that was the right thing to do. But when he came in, he found his own partner standing there. Because it was Mr. Portsman, Mr. Faith probably let his guard down. But Mr. Portsman was not so merciful as to let him leave alive. He waited for a chance and stole Mr. Faith's gun from him, and then he killed him. He silenced Mr. Faith for catching him in the act of stealing. This was the moment in which the first shot was fired, the one that landed in my files. Following that, Mr. Portsman wiped the gun down and left it behind as he made his exit. He could afford to do that because he had also left a fake dying message behind. You're such a complicated troublemaker, you know that? Well, if things were as simple as that, then all would be solved. However, there was yet another visitor to my room, and this is where it gets complicated. There was another visitor, sir? Yes, and this other person's objective was also to steal something from me. Now then, even after Mr. Portsman left, the door to my office remained unlocked. However, this new visitor had no way of knowing that, and so they stole the master key from the security guard's room, and then entered my room and searched through my shelves. This was the second time they were disturbed, and it seems the thief found their prize. They stole the stolen zero file, right, sir? Correct. Only just as the thief was about to leave with his file, I appeared. The thief then threatened me with their own gun and made their escape. The second bullet was fired during that brief encounter. So the shelves getting messed up twice and the two bullets. It was all because two different people were doing those things at two different times. Precisely. So now do you see, Mr. Portsman? The person I met was just a thief, and was not, in fact, Mr. Faith's killer. Your alibi for the time frame in which I ran into the other person is now irrelevant, because we now know that the murder took place during the first culprit's visit.
Objection!
Ha 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 ha. What's so funny, pal? Absolutely splendid. Your scenario explains everything. Of course it does. It's Mr. Edgeworth, after all. But you know, it still doesn't change the fact that it's all circumstantial. Now, he really loves that word. Supposing if, and that's a big if, your theory is right, it would indeed render my alibi, which has withstood scrutiny, mind you, irrelevant. There is still one defining point of your argument for which you have no evidence. Your supposition that I was the first visitor. You're Mr. Edgeworth. You can't let him get away with this, sir. But he has a point. I have absolutely no proof at this point. Don't say that, sir. I don't believe this. Don't worry, Maggie. I'll do something if I must. You know something? I find your attitude to be somewhat peculiar, Mr. Edgeworth. If the person you met really was just a plain old thief, then why is that person not your main suspect? That is, if your theory is correct. Yo, banger. That thief you ran into should be your real suspect, wouldn't you say? We should be out there looking for that thief right now. They might still be nearby. I hate to repeat myself, but as I've already said, I was training in my room. And when Jim came to deliver some evidence to me, I was down at criminal affairs. So I can't be expected to know what happened around here after I left. So you think we should be out there looking for the thief? Of course. Now isn't the time to be wasting time on dead-end discussions. I don't think it's all that dead-ended. I find your alibi to be fascinating. Let's continue where we left off, shall we? I know he's lying. I know he was here at the scene of the crime. I just have to find a way to prove it. That thief you ran into should be a real suspect. Alright, press. Actually, no, I wouldn't. Why not? That's elementary. The dying message, of course. Mr. Faith's killer very clearly left those letters on the spines of those files. And it was after they were on there that the thief stole one of them. You mean the zero files, right? That's how we also know the letters themselves were a setup, not for Mr. Faith. If the thief was the killer, do you think they would try to undermine themselves? Ah! Or maybe the killer just didn't think of that either. Yes, that must be it. Maybe, just maybe. Yeah, this is indeed a cat jam.
Hold it!
Also welcome in, Goblin. Once escaped, I highly doubt a thief would linger nearby. Well, you never know. Maybe they didn't get what they were really after. Yo, Hyper Cat Jam. Yo, you talk like you know quite a bit about this thief. It's nothing like that. I have no idea about anything, after all.
Hold it!
according to Mr. Faith's note. Hold on, I thought we already cleared that up. Monkey Rave, do you have this? Yes, I do have Monkey Rave. I added it. I added it when I got BTTV+. Hold on, I thought we already cleared that up. Didn't we say that Jim left that note for me in the early evening? If you have proof that he left it at a different time, say just before he was murdered. I don't have any, no. You see? So I insist again that it was in my office the entire time. And Jim came to deliver some evidence to me. He's down at...
Hold it!
Why didn't you go there with Mr. Faith? Ah, that's because he said he was tired and was going to take a quick nap. You know, those sofas in the hallways, he likes to sleep on those. It's one of his habits. And what are the evidence he brought? They were things related to yesterday's case. Just 2 items. A gun and a pendant. Interesting. This piece of testimony seems too crucial to let slip through the cracks. Is he wearing the evidence? I don't know what the pendant is. Oh, wait. 3 pieces of evidence. He only lists 2.
Objection!
Only 2 pieces. I believe the proper phrase here is, you fail. Aw, epic fail. Excuse me? You fail as a prosecutor, Mr. Portsman, as you intend to keep evidence hidden from me. Banger. Objection, dumbass. What are you talking about? I haven't hidden anything from you. Well, here's a piece I think you should read. Carefully. It says that Mr. Faith was bringing 3 pieces. Yes, and this is the victim's real dying message to you, Mr. Portsman. I can't believe you get tricked up by simple arithmetic. Where is the missing piece of evidence? You have it, don't you? Only the guilty would make such a face. Detective Gumshoe, you don't have to say it, sir. I'll pat the guy down from head to toe. What? Don't come any closer. I'm warning you. This is all part of the investigation, pal, so don't even think about stopping me. No! Hey, what's this? He had this on him, sir. Despite what you said, it would appear that you do have something to hide. But why would he hide something like that? There's only one reason why anyone would hide evidence of this caliber. Because it would unequivocally point to that person himself as the real killer. Let's examine this videotape in a little more detail. Salary cutting noise. It's a CCTV tape? I don't know. For a section of the tape that will drive the last nail into his coffin. Oh, we're just physically inspecting the tape. Oh. Ah, that's blood, isn't it? Yes, and I believe this is what the good prosecutor was trying to hide from us. Ketchup! Yeah, it's ketchup. This blood is still fresh. You mean, this might be Detective Faith's blood? No, you've got it all wrong. No amount of denial can save you. We have but to run a blood test to find the truth. No, you guys don't get it. He accidentally spilled some paint on it. He told us that you had received evidence from the victim earlier. Now, you will tell us when and how the victim's blood find its way onto this video. Yeah, it's totally suspicious. Among Us? Was it at the moment of his death? Did Detective Faith have this videotape on his personage when you killed him? I'm having to lick the blood of something. Aw. You know very well there's no way to prove that. Not even if we were to examine this tape for fingerprints. Ah! If I had to take a guess, I'd say that the only ones on here would belong to the murderous you and Mr. Faith. No, impossible. I'm disappointed. I really wanted him to break his back. I really wanted him to break his back from him. March 14th, 5:47 a.m. Nutritious and delicious. Don't worry, it was just a chocolate medal, you know? It's one of those chocolate medals. Yeah, what Jamie said. Mr. Portsman has been placed under arrest for the murder of Detective Buddy Faith, sir. Very good. And the results we got back from the lab techs on the tape turned out to be real solid, sir. The blood work came back and it was definitely Mr. Faith's blood on there. And as a bonus, they were also able to lift a few of Mr. Faith's fingerprints as well. Thank you so very much, Mr. Edgeworth. I still can't believe I got to see your cool deduction skills outside the courtroom. Portsman fucking dies, ASMR. I'm impressed beyond words, sir. It was nothing. I'm just sorry you got caught up in a murder in my office. Please accept my apologies. Oh, it was nothing, really, compared to what I've been through, I mean. I consider myself lucky that it was only a burglary and a murder this time, sir. If it had been a holdup or a hostage situation, I'd have thrown my hands up in the air. I think I'm finally rising up from the goddess of misfortune to just an unlucky person. Something tells me we should have hired a different person for security detail. You know something, sir? That Mr. Portsman really was one corrupt prosecutor. And why would you say he was corrupt? Well, I heard that there were a number of suspicious things related to his court case. There's even rumors about how some of the evidence he uses is forged, sir. Forged evidence, huh? They say he even decided not to prosecute a few cases for some really vague reasons. Ooh, that guy was a complete disgrace to the entire profession. We never did get around to asking what his reason was for breaking into my office. Yeah, whenever we got near that topic, he just clammed up. Then we can be pretty certain that it was to steal something. This is between you and me, sir, but there's a rumor that some sort of huge organization is involved behind the scenes. Oh, well, well. With Mr. Portsman not willing to divulge anything, it certainly lends credence to that rumor. It would seem that we haven't heard the last of this. Huh? That Mr. Portsman isn't the bad guy? I didn't say that, but rather that there are still many more mysteries for us to solve. For example, we still haven't figured out the significance to this piece of evidence. What, the stolen file?
Take that!
Person who stole this file, the other villain of the night. Yeah, I wonder who it was. What happened to the stolen pages? I wonder, who in the world was it that held me up at gunpoint? Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Yes? Came across this while I was processing your office earlier, sir. This card. What is it, sir? Is that a bird or something on there? It's not just any bird. It is the mark of the raven, a three-legged raven. Even you should know what this is, detective. Oh, it's about that thing, isn't it? That great thief everyone's talking about? Yes, it is the mark of the great thief Yatagarasu. Under the mark of a legendary bird, the Yatagarasu is noble to the end, a modern Robin Hood. Labeled mysterious and phantom-like, the Yatagarasu appears and vanishes at will. Though we don't know much about this thief's ultimate goal, we do know the targets. The Yatagarasu likes to find and make public evidence of corrupt dealings of all sorts. Theft is always performed in silence and always with perfection. Once a target is chosen, no dramatic calling card or announcement is sent forth. Instead, the chosen corporation is infiltrated without even the target noticing. Some days later, the evidence that was found is sent out to the mass media, along with this single card, although it has been a while since the Yatagarasu's last appearance. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, look, something's written on the back. What? Let me see. It's the location of where the thief put the stolen files. Jamie, go back to sleep now? Alright, see ya, Jamie. Thank you for stopping by. So, the person who stole the contents of the file was the Yatagarasu. Yatagarasu organization. Quite a few key words are popping up in this mystery. The murder in my office. The return of the great thief Yatagarasu. Looking back, I can't say I didn't see these events coming, for they were heralded by the incidents that began to occur 2 days ago. Alright, that was case 1. Alright, well, that was the first case, you know? It's pretty decent so far. That was technically the only case I hadn't seen anything from because Jello Apocalypse's video series on this first game never covered the first case. So, yeah. I mean, I'm liking it so far, but you know, we haven't actually gotten to the actual meat of the game. That was only a tutorial. So, slap, 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 clap, clap. Anyways, thank you guys for showing up. Playing time soon? True. Yeah. And is there anyone to raid? Who's online right now? Who's online that I could raid? Eh, not really anybody. I don't really care too much. So, I'll just end stream. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. And yeah, see you guys next time. Bye bye, nerds.